If people want it badly enough, they'll be successful. And when you make the excuse, you let yourself off the hook. You know, when I first started out in business, and I went to move to a major city to like build my footprint, someone had the audacity to come up to me and offer me advice, and the advice was, "Man, you have made a huge mistake. There is no way you can be successful here. People won't come downtown to work for you. It's too expensive. The operation's too challenging. Parking's a hassle." Like, they made the laundry list of all of the reasons that I was going to fail. And at the end of the conversation, I actually thanked them. And they were like, "Oh, no problem. I'm glad to give you the advice." I said, "No, not thank you for the advice. Thank you for your belief system that basically is going to make what I'm about to do that much more spectacular." Right? Because I don't subscribe to that loser mentality, that mindset of it's not possible or it can't be done, that's just going to keep that, like, that's your reality. Like, it's never been done because nobody ever has had the stones or the willingness to pay the price and not make excuses. No one's ever been vulnerable enough to allow themselves the potential of failure in order to enjoy the joy of success and achievement. There was a lot of good feedback on the last episode when we were talking about ROI on lunch. And I some of the questions or the comments came about, what about this or what about that? And, interesting enough, like, most of like the failure we experience in life really is a byproduct of the story that we tell ourselves. And we make excuses to protect our own ego from the harsh reality when we fail, right? So, ultimately, pretty much, if you boil down any excuse, it really comes down to a way to let yourself off the hook when things aren't necessarily going well, right? So, my experience has been there's three, right? I don't know how means I'm not really willing to put forth the effort to learn. The second biggest excuse you always hear is I can't afford it. And that really just means I don't want it badly enough. Because if you really want something badly enough, you will beg, borrow, steal, you'll work an extra job, you'll figure out whatever it is you have to do in order to have enough money to make things happen. So, when it comes to hiring an assistant, the story we tell ourselves sometimes is, I just can't afford it yet. Well, when you make it a priority, right, you will choose to afford it, you bust your ass, you work hard enough because it's bad enough, important enough to you that you'll make it happen. And you have to eliminate that excuse from your mind. And the last one is I don't have enough time, which really just means it's not a priority, right? So if I don't have enough time to do X, Y, or Z, I don't have enough time to go to the gym, I don't have enough time to spend, with my kids, I don't have enough time. Like, really, you just haven't made it a big enough priority for yourself. And so, when we stop making excuses, like, we actually have to take responsibility for the entire process, and it eliminates our ability to get stuck in mediocrity, which is where a majority of people end up. And the people that don't make excuses, the people that actually are willing to create the story of only one possible outcome, that's what winners really have. Winners believe there's only one possible outcome. A lot of people are criticizing Cam Newton for the way he handled post Super Bowl. He's a winner. And the truth of the matter is he only saw one outcome. So he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated, demoralized when that outcome didn't happen. Now, the real question is, do you point the fingers, right? Do you blame it on the referees? Do you blame it on your offensive line for not protecting you? Do you blame it on something else, right? Or do you take responsibility and do you learn from it? Right, and my guess is he's going to come back and be a champion because he's been a champion always. But it starts with believing that there's only one possible outcome, and not making any excuses, right? And it takes maturity not to point the finger in the moment and not blame somebody for your failure. But that's just your ego protecting itself. But winners don't make excuses. That's what it comes down to, is they can't allow themselves to, or they're gonna settle into this place, of the norm of where everybody else is, and that's what separates them, right? Is belief system.